Week 1 of the college football season is just a few days away, so it's time to bring back an old segment where I break down the latest college football news. We have some news with everyone's favorite quarterback Tate Martell, a South Carolina coach being named the starting quarterback, and a whole lot more. All that today on 4th and 10. Now let's go for it. We're going to start today with what I think is one of the craziest stories of the week. The South Carolina Gamecocks named their starting quarterback for this weekend's game against Eastern Illinois, Zeb Nolan. Now, normally a team naming the starting quarterback isn't that big of a deal, but Nolan came to South Carolina this year as a graduate assistant on Shane Beamer's coaching staff. Expected starter Luke Doty injured his left foot earlier in the preseason, and Beamer said that he'll probably be back next week, leaving a quarterback spot open for the opening game. Nolan has been sharing reps in practice with redshirt senior Jason Brown, who transferred to South Carolina from St. Francis this offseason. Brown is going to serve as the backup for the season opener. Now, don't worry, this isn't some random coach that's going to be suiting up for South Carolina this week. Zeb Nolan was the quarterback in North Dakota State last season. He landed a spot as a grad assistant this offseason on the staff, but still had a year of eligibility remaining. He was the backup to Trey Lance, but became the starting quarterback when Trey Lance opted out. Last season for North Dakota State, Nolan threw for over 700 yards with 5 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. Here's a pretty interesting and fun quote the other day from Shane Beamer. "I know what the narrative may be out there, so let's forget about it and lose the narrative that he hasn't played a football game in 2 or 3 years and he was walking up and down the hall like Uncle Rico talking about what he did back in the day as a quarterback. He played quarterback a couple of months ago, 3 months ago. He's been a graduate assistant coach since June. Like I told you when we activated him to our roster, he's played in a college football game a hell of a lot more recently than anybody on our team. Is it a little bit unique? Yes, but it wasn't like he played a few years ago. He played a few months ago. So there you have it. I guess your playing career truly isn't over until it's over." But speaking of football playing careers being over, that might be the case for Tate Martell. After a wild collegiate career, he transferred to UNLV this offseason. The depth chart for the first week came out, and Martell didn't even crack the list. UNLV announced that either sophomore Doug Brumfield or sophomore Justin Rogers will be the starting quarterback, with freshman Cameron Friel serving as the third-string quarterback. Just a week ago, Tate Martell posted this to his TikTok page, showing his optimism for the upcoming season. Now, I know there's a chance that he plays for the Rebels at some point in 2021, but it doesn't look like it's going to be anytime soon. About a year ago, I posted a video going over the insane career of Tate Martell. If you would like a more in-depth look inside his crazy story, I highly recommend you go and check out that video. We have some clarity on one of the top starting quarterback battles in the country, as Texas coach Steve Sarkisian announced that redshirt freshman quarterback Hudson Card is going to be the starting quarterback for the Longhorns this weekend. However, Casey Thompson is also going to appear in the game. Sarkisian added that he will reevaluate the competition for Texas's permanent starter after week 1. Here's what Sark had to say about the quarterback battle. "Neither guys ever started a game in their career, so we'll look at it after 1 week. But the good part for both those guys is I think we're improving as an offense. Casey's going to play. When, how much, I'm not exactly certain. I think there's got to be a feel to the game. Hudson's earned the right to be the starter, but somewhere in this game, Casey's going to get his opportunities as well." Hudson Card was ranked number 40 overall in the 2020 ESPN 300 list. Casey Thompson saw limited time as Sam Ehlinger's backup, but looked really good last year in the Alamo Bowl. This is definitely going to be an interesting quarterback battle to keep our eyes on. Even more so, keep your eyes on this game this weekend, as I think it's possible that Louisiana upsets the Longhorns. Wrapping up the news this week is that this weekend's Oklahoma and Tulane game has been officially moved from Tulane to Oklahoma due to the hurricane in Louisiana. Tulane is actually going to be the home team still, and they're going to retain all the net proceeds from ticket sales, which is fantastic news to hear. In addition to moving the game, the two schools have agreed to work together on identifying a date in a future season for a game to be held in New Orleans. They already have a game scheduled for 2024, but that's scheduled to be in Norman. Now, this does suck for Tulane fans who are going to get to see this game at home, but at least the game's still going to be played, and at least they're going to get all the money from the game. Hopefully for Tulane's sake, they're going to be able to schedule a future game against Oklahoma at home. This is definitely an interesting case though, as Oklahoma is essentially rewarded an extra home game. I think the Sooners would have beaten Tulane anyway, so it doesn't necessarily matter that much, but the Sooners don't have to travel on the road until October 2nd. Before we wrap up today's video, let's share some uniforms that were dropped today. We're going to start with my Sun Devils, who are going to be rocking these gold uniforms later in the season against Colorado. Overall, I really like this look. Arizona State usually brings out fire with their uniforms, and I'm a fan of these. Plus, anytime you get to have Sparky on the helmet, it's a major win. Nebraska announced that in honor of the 20th anniversary of 9/11, the Huskers are going to be wearing these commemorative camouflage jerseys against Buffalo next week to honor those who were affected. I personally love that they're paying tribute with these uniforms, and although they're pretty simple and pretty basic, I think they actually look really great. Plus, now Nebraska, they get to lose in style. Now, Kansas has to have some reason to get their fans fired up about their upcoming 2-10 season. The Jayhawks are going to wear these uniforms for their homecoming matchup against Texas Tech in October. On the helmet is the classic bow tie K from 1929. Per the website, the goal of the uniform is to accurately understand Kansas football's history and the characteristics that are associated with being a Jayhawk. Now, these are certainly different and unique, as these are unlike anything we've seen Kansas wear in years past. Well, again, if you're going to lose, you might as well look good doing it, and that's what Kansas is doing here. NC State is going to honor the university's most iconic landmark with a special lighted red uniform for their season opener. The new gear celebrates the history of the Memorial Bell Tower and the Wolfpack tradition of lighting it red following big victories. Overall, I got no complaints at all with these. I think they're clean, they look great, and again, this is something I'd like to see NC State wear multiple times this season. Finally, Washington announced that they're going to be wearing these throwback uniforms that pay tribute to their 1991 National Championship winning team. There isn't a date yet as to when we're going to see these, but anytime you can go back in the vault and wear uniforms from the 1990s, it's an automatic victory in my book. Well, that wraps up today's episode of 4th and 10. If you enjoyed this video and want more college football content just like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications so you don't miss another video. If you're a college football fan, then this is definitely the place for you. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.